In the gym and in the car, with our advice you could go far. We fuck things up and we make mistakes, and talk about our sexy dates. We host events and go to clubs, but most of all we're still in love. It's getting hard for this to rhyme, just as well, 'cause it's bed hopping time. Hello and welcome to the Bed Hoppers podcast. My name's Mr. H.
I'm Mrs. H.
Are you?
Yeah.
Are you quite sure with that?
Positive.
Excellent. Well done. Thanks for turning up, wife. And thank you, gentle listener, for coming along for the ride as well.
I've been quite tired in my defence.
Well, I think we've had a lack of sleep for the last 4 days, 5 days.
I've had about 5 hours sleep.
And we're going to talk a little bit about that.
Just my lack of sleep.
Just your lack of sleep. I mean, mostly it's just you not sleeping, then it's me not sleeping, and then overall it's like a late night partying kind of thing.
Yeah, just lots of partying and not sleeping.
Yeah, exactly that. So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about our Neon Dreams event. And yes, we know, you're talking about an event that I've not been able to go to, unless you have been able to go, in which case, thank you very much for coming along.
Yeah, but also it's an event that you might want to come to in the future.
Yes.
Not this one, because it's now past.
It is now in the past.
But it's a good way of deciding whether events are for you.
Yeah.
Because I think going back years, we didn't necessarily think events were for us as such, because it's a lot of people.
There are a lot of people.
There's a lot you can get from them.
There are. I think we're gonna talk a little bit about like how we prep for the event, a bit about what went down. We've got maybe a little bit of sexy time to talk about. Maybe we've got a bit of sort of like favourite experiences throughout the course of the weekend. Some fun stories as well, hopefully. A little bit about an update on Vanilla Alternative, because this is where we were taking over. So we can give you a bit of an update on some of the modifications and expansions that they've been making over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And then we'll round it up and piss off. How about that? That sound good? I mean, hopefully it does. We'll wrap it up.
We'll be efficient closers, don't worry.
Definitely efficient closers. So the first thing, prep for this event. This was a neon event, right?
Yes. So it was all sort of themed around bright colours, neon themed outfits. Not that the whole weekend had to be themed around neon, but the main event itself for Saturday was.
So that obviously meant that we had to find something that was neon to wear for at least the Saturday evening, right?
Like you needed an excuse to buy another pair of batshit crazy shoes.
I didn't buy any shoes.
I know, you bought something else that was batshit crazy.
I bought a short sleeve, a lot harder to say than I anticipated. Short sleeve and short suit, which was bright pink.
Yes.
And
because you are enough.
Well, that was what was running through my head throughout the course of the evening.
What? With anyone else, you'd be a 10.
Yeah. Ricey loves, she sees a friend, and all that sort of stuff. So it was quite a Ken/Barbie outfit.
It was really Barbie.
It was really comfy because it was fucking hot.
Yeah.
And my legs were out and my arms were out. So I was like, yay.
And you bought some batshit crazy dress down outfit,
I
didn't you?
did buy a batshit crazy dress down outfit, which was kind of like a sort of like...
It was like unicorn vomit.
It reminded me of a Zap ice cream.
Unicorn poop.
Unicorn poop.
It's how I imagine a mystical unicorn creature would poo. Like glitter and rainbows.
Oh, that's delightful. That was like it was like a pair of silken shorts, and I use the term silken very lightly for if I were to go near a flame.
Polyester at best, you know it.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I'd go up in flames. I had to stop my legs from chafing, just in case the friction caused them to go. So that was definitely on my mind. So I wore that with some, not sandals, slip-on, sliders, whatever they're called.
I always think of burgers when you say sliders.
Sliders. What did you wear, dear? What did you wear? And how easy was it for you to obtain an outfit? Were you waiting until the 2 days before? Yes,
I did wait until approximately 3 days before.
Okay.
No, this is not true, actually.
We've learned
go
so much from doing these events.
All right. So I did buy an outfit some time ago.
Okay.
If you recall.
Yes.
But as the weather got hotter and hotter...
Was this the outfit that I bought you?
No, I bought this myself.
Okay.
Yes. But as the weather got hotter and hotter, I think I was really concerned I was going to expire pretty rapidly because it was a long-sleeved dress with sort of like a mesh thing. It was really cool, but maybe a little bit more wintry. So I waited for 3 days before, panicked, and then just went and panic bought something on the interwebs, which was black with like neon slashes, geometric kind
Aren't
of
they like
lightning slashes or something, but in bright neon colours. Pardon me, I had a little hiccup. And then I also got a dress down which didn't fit, so I had to go back. And then again, resorted to rummaging through my fancy underwear drawer.
Okay.
At the last minute.
Well, I think this is kind of just because we'd had the Croatian event, the Spicy Island thing, a few weeks before. I think we'd kind of left, I hadn't so much, but certainly you had left it quite last minute. And it was kind of, at much of the event, it was kind of trying to get our game plan from going away to getting back into the game and hosting our own thing. But as per normal, there was a plethora of boxes turning up in the last week, which Kate had ordered lots of stuff for the event. We had badges to give away. We had prizes. We had all this sort of stuff. And we also had Kate coming down the night before. Because the party ran over, we had a sort of pre-mingle, pre-party on the Friday, which is all sort of very above board, very, very vanilla in a vanilla setting in a hotel.
Yeah.
I think about 60 people, maybe 40, 50 people. And that was all very cool. And then on the Saturday was when the actual event was taking place. And throughout the course of the Saturday, we had various things going on that we'll talk about in a minute. But as a result, we had not only a couple of outfit changes to sort out between us, but also had all the stuff to give away.
Yeah.
So that was all showing up. And then we picked Kate up. That was great. Lots of extra detail here that you probably don't need to know.
Yeah, I probably don't need this. Then, did you have a snack on the way? Or?
Well, no, I didn't have a snack on the way. But the important bit that I wanted to complain about was as soon as we got in the car,
Oh, we hit traffic.
And that traffic continued throughout the whole course of the day.
It did turn a 2.5-hour journey into a 4.5-hour journey.
Yeah, why is it whenever we do any lifestyle adventure, there is always a fucking buck ton of traffic?
Well, as I keep explaining to you, dear heart, it is not about the event. It's the fact that this is just the state of the UK. There is traffic everywhere, roadworks everywhere, and they all conspire.
Protest to the left of me, traffic to the right.
Here I am. They all conspire to make Mr. H a very unhappy non-speed demon.
Yeah. And at certain points, it seemed like my music was failing me in the car.
Everything was.
Yeah, it just wasn't going well for a long time. But we got there.
Everyone else got stuck in traffic too, by the sound of it.
Yeah.
Lots and lots of people were talking on the Discord about traffic jams and roadworks and epically long journeys. So I think everybody was, not that it makes it better, but everyone was in the same boat.
As long as everyone else gets dragged down to my level, that's the main thing. And the reason why we're sort of kind of rushing to get there, we left pretty early. I mean, you were out of the house before 12 o'clock.
When I was told to.
10 minutes after, but that's fine. We'll forgive you for that. But we were going to go to VA, Vanilla Alternative, to film around the club with Kate and do an updated tour, because since we've been there, not last because we were there over the last few weeks, but since we've been there over the last couple of years, they've done some significant improvements and changes and updates to the place.
It's all changed around, so we wanted to refilm it.
Yeah, and get a view of the outside area and sort of give people a chance to see what it's like. Because I think one of the things I find if I'm going to a club is it's a little bit nerve-wracking if you don't know roughly what to expect. I don't necessarily need the absolute ins and outs of it, but I like to have a vague idea of what I'm going to be walking into, what it's going to feel like, and you know, some basic info. Do I need to bring a towel? Do I need to bring X, Y, Z? And that really helps me in my prep for that.
Good.
Good. Well, it does. So anyway, we did go around and film it. So that film is now in Kate's hands. I assume it is anyway. And then she's going to produce, I hope, a video that we'll be able to update, or she'll be able to update, and we'll point our gentle listeners to on the YouTubes. But if you look up Wanderlust Swingers, you can actually see our previous one and a couple of other ones that we've done with Kate. So we really wanted to get that done because it's really important for us to promote the clubs that we go to, that we've enjoyed and that we're working with, and also give newbies and people that are new to the club the opportunity to see what it's like before they get there.
Yeah.
So we did that, and then we pretty much hit the ground running. We got to the hotel, and this wasn't a complete takeover, right?
No, we had quite a partial takeover in that we had quite a few rooms secured in the hotel, but no, not all of the hotel, not on this occasion.
No, so it was quite
a chunk of them, though.
Quite a lot of people staying in the hotel.
It's a huge hotel as well.
But there were a lot of wander hoppers, as it's become known. I don't know who coined that phrase, but well done. It is a
happy word smash.
the word smash. Is it portmanteau? Is that the right word? I don't know. Of Wanderlust swingers and bed hoppers or wonder hoppers, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we had a bunch of those folks coming to the pre-mingle on the Friday night. So we literally got in, had a bite to eat.
Yeah.
Pretty much had a quick shower, and then we were out. And then the party was starting.
Yeah.
Now, we've spoken before about the sort of night before and the pre-parties or the pre-mingles or whatever you want to call them. I absolutely adore these.
I think they're probably one of the highlights of every event we've done so far. The pre-party is always way surpasses my expectations, because I always see it originally as just an opportunity to, get over your first event nerves, if that's what people want to do, or reconvene with people in readiness for the event. But for me, they always end up being super, super fun.
And I think for us as hosts, I mean, there's not too much that we have to do. It's not like when we're at the club or when we're ferrying people around.
Stuff. It's just meeting and mingling.
It's a little bit more relaxed for us. And for me, it's a great opportunity to schmooze my way around the place.
And you do just that, don't you?
Well, it's more a case of just saying hello to people, making sure they're comfortable, getting to know some of the guests, and also sort of reconnecting with people that we've already met before. And some of the people that come along are our friends, some are people that we've seen before, some are people that we've never met, some are people it's their first time doing anything in the lifestyle. And that's this is why I really like these pre-parties, because it's a really good chance to go around and speak to these people, find out, what are they trying to get from the event? What are they looking for? What's their thing? And help calm any nerves for the next night, because people do come in quite nervous. To hold hands through that process, to offer any, I was going to say sage advice, but that's probably not the right phrase, I guess. But just really help people, I think, and just. But it was because it's a pre-party, right? Mm-hmm. And it's a Friday. People are they've come down from wherever they've come now, driven up there, or traveled to get there. They're excited because finally at the event that the chat's been running for 5-6 weeks, they are ready to go. And often people overdo it a little bit on the Friday night.
Plus, everyone's been sat in balls traffic, so they want to just let their hair down a bit and get over the trauma of a journey. So everyone tends to have quite a few drinks. And there's often quite a lot of not. Because it's social, as you say, it is just in a vanilla setting, but it's still very much an implied level of fun that you just look forward more to what's coming.
And also, I think because it's in a vanilla setting, because it's in a vanilla bar, that you're sort of tied by your behaviour to a certain extent. So you can flirt, and you might be able to steal the occasional kiss.
But nothing
too overt. And I think that makes it even more saucy, knowing that you've got that going on. Or if you do want to take things there, then you can obviously take that back to your own room.
Because the good thing is you probably have a hotel room on site.
And that's exactly it. I spoke to so many really new people that had not been to our events before.
Same.
And people that were extremely new in the lifestyle.
Yeah.
For some people, this was the first ever thing that we're doing. A lot of people, it was their first ever time at VA or first ever time at a club. So there was some really good, solid conversations where, people were asking loads of questions about, what might they expect? What would we recommend doing? And obviously our advice isn't worth shit, because we don't tend to do that great in clubs either.
But we can give people the benefit of hindsight and the benefit of how certain things might go, and just talk it through more than anything. We're not, like any sort of counselling type environment, you're not there to tell someone a solution or give them advice, because that may be bad. But what you can do is just talk.
This is what we did.
All arrive at some kind of conclusion, maybe.
I think it's helpful. I think this is something that I really missed when we started doing things, where people that would just, and it's not just us. Please don't think that it's just us wandering around like some fucking sage Gandalf dispelling advice around. The whole group is really supportive, and particularly, there's a few members in there that are really good with new folks and go out of their way to make sure that no one puts baby in a corner.
No one's just sat on their own, feeling really like, oh no,
and
really sad.
There is only so much that we can do, because there's only a limited number of us, but the rest of that group and that community, the regulars that come along, do a really good job of getting out there and speaking to the new folks, and they can spot someone that's not quite fitting in a mile away and sit down and ease their fears a bit, which I utterly love about this group.
Yeah, agreed.
The good thing about Friday, or one of the other good things about Friday,
another good thing about Friday,
is that we managed to have some sexy fun on Friday.
Yes, we did.
We
Not in the bar.
Not in the bar, no. We went back to a hotel room.
We did.
Not necessarily ours.
And wow, you've given the game away now, haven't you?
I have, yeah. What did you get up to, wife?
Hang on, you were there too.
Yeah,
you
but
make it sound like it was just me.
I've been talking loads, so you can detail the sexy bit as part of your ongoing practice of talking about the sexy times.
Are you just trying to coach me through this failing ability to talk sexy?
Practice makes pleasant listening, I guess. I don't know.
All right, okay. So we did make a cheeky little arrangement with a lovely couple that we've met before and played with before.
Mm-hmm.
And we all agreed that we should reconvene to one of our bedrooms.
I believe reconnect.
Yeah, you're probably right, actually. Reconnect in one of our bedrooms in the hotel.
They had an infinitely better bedroom than us, though.
That's banging, so we went to theirs.
Don't know how they managed that.
Yeah, so we were absolutely invited to their bedroom. So we left separately. So I don't know, just felt like a bit more naughty to do.
Just sneaking off into the night.
Sneaking off.
This, by the way, time had been called at the bar. It was just people hanging around.
Yeah, it was the end of the night.
Yeah.
Because just a vanilla bar, and I guess they were wrapping up because they're not really used to having like a deluge of people descending on them.
I don't think they were used to that many people being in that.
So about
unless it was a
quarter to
conference
11ish, they sort of wrapped up a little bit. So we went our separate ways and then reconnected in the room.
Oh my, what does that mean?
What it means is we went to their room and we were immediately offered some lovely drinks, and we sat around on the bed and just like chatted for 20 minutes or so because we hadn't really chatted alone together since we'd last met.
Okay.
So that was really nice.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we've got to a level of comfort and sexiness with this couple where we can happily lie around on the bed together, semi-naked, and just feel quite comfy in our skins around each other, and it's not nervous anymore and it's not awkward. It's just really nice.
Yeah.
So there was a level of, just easing back into that kind of sexy environment. And then all her clothes fell off. She got up, came back, and the clothes were gone.
I think there was a moment where you said your standard line of, I believe you're all wearing too many clothes.
I might have said that.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's true. But of course, once one person takes their clothes off, it's really easy to just all follow suit quite quickly.
Oh, I see.
With relative ease.
Mm-hmm.
So we all got naked then. It was great. We all got naked, and I think I probably, I did start things off this time. I went down on her. There you go. I was going to say it.
You're just going to say it.
You can sex it up if you want, but I don't know how to say that in a sexy way.
You could say...
Go on.
You could use the P word.
Dear God, man, I don't like using the P word.
What did you do? I love bacon. This is awkward listening, I appreciate, but it's amazingly funny from my side of the microphone.
I ate her pussy. You don't know how hard it is to say that.
You don't know how hard you've made people listening to that either. But that's another thing.
I just don't like saying it.
Oh, yeah. And so we were making out with her, or I was making out with her.
You two were doing that while I was doing that.
While you were doing that. And then she had a cock in each hand.
Yes, she did, which I think I asked to see as well at one point. I was like, I want to see this. I want to see you doing this.
Demanding Mrs. H. Yeah, you were literally. Yeah. And what else did you want to see?
Well, I made her come.
Yeah.
And then I insisted that she got on her knees, and well, there was a spit roast situation going on because I wanted to watch. She was giving you a head and he was fucking her.
There we go.
So
that wasn't so difficult, was it? It
wasn't so difficult. Well, no, it was. It was very easy. That went on, which is pretty sexy. And I believe there was a hilarious moment where you had to come on your own belly button.
Well, yeah, I didn't have to, but she made me come. And then by natural gravity, it was a belly button situation. Wasn't happy about that. She'll hear this probably, maybe.
You never are happy
She
about that.
knows what she did.
Of course she does.
She does. And she was cackling about it throughout the course of the weekend.
And then we lay together afterwards and had another drink and just chilled out naked for a bit. And then somehow it was 3 a.m.
Yeah. We did the walk of fame/shame.
It might have been a little bit earlier actually, but it was still later than we probably should have stayed.
I think it was about 1:30.
Or maybe.
I think it wasn't too late
maybe.
the first night. I think we were asleep by 2.
But then we had to do a little run of shame through the hotel
which
corridors.
I took a picture on, which is now available on X or Twitter, so you can check that out. It's also available on Swing Hub and every other site because, I thought, well, might as well share this.
I could not bear to put a dress and shoes back on like that. I'm legging it to our hotel room. So we did that. Went off to bed, and then we had to get up early-ish the next day because we knew we had a fairly full day, and we had a breakfast mingle first.
So yeah, we had a breakfast mingle,
which was really nice because I love breakfast and I like mingling.
Do you know what? It was such a nice little chilled out thing, and just everyone having breakfast and just
over a couple of hours. It was just people wandered in, grabbed food, sat down. There was great big tables, so everyone could just like hop around and kind of sit where they wanted and move around if they wanted to.
So one of the things that we really wanted to do for this particular event, working with Kate from Wonderlust, was to really sort of bring a few different elements to the foray and introduce people to some of the stuff that she does quite regularly with her Libertine events.
With her kind of and Miami stuff.
And quite often they'll have a bit of a sort of educational edutainment kind of angle. So we thought it would be really cool to do a little bit of that, do a bit more mingling, because we're really aware that a large chunk of the people that come along need some level of support and need some help. So we thought, we'll kick it off with a bit of breakfast mingling.
Yeah.
Then we're going to go into some games.
Yeah, it was like a game.
So we had an
hour?
Maybe? Hour and a half. We had a conference room, which is great.
Yeah.
It was like being back at work. But what I really liked is that as I was like, are people going to come along to this? We just don't know. And it was a bit of a gamble, but bit by bit, people came through the door. And before we knew it, we had people playing Porno or Pacino.
Yeah, great game.
Great game, gifted to us by Max and Mabel. Thank you.
Yep, absolutely wonderful stuff.
Really good with the lemon stealing whores quote that's in there. That was good fun. Started doing a bit of that. We had naughty charades, but people all around were sort of playing the games, but then around the sides, people were just chatting and dipping in and out. So they were just really getting to know each other. And then sort of jumping on and playing a game.
And you Gutterhead as well, didn't you?
Yeah, I did a large game of Gutterhead with about 12, 15 people.
That is a game that really is a lot of fun with many people.
Well,
it's always hard to do it in execution because if you're playing it like with friends, how often you're going to have like big whiteboards in front of you?
Well, that's the thing. We had these big whiteboards or green boards in this case.
Yeah, they were
in front of us, and we had a few teams set up. The first drawing was Hitler, which didn't help.
Oh, was it?
It was,
I was on the side of this talking to some people. I missed what the actual ones were.
So we had someone drew Hitler very, very well, like with the moustache, like a little cartoony Hitler.
Oh my God.
So how many times I'm going to say Hitler in one podcast? Quite a few apparently.
Don't say anymore.
It's going to flag us up. But someone drew a swastika but drew it wrong, which is probably a good thing, I think. So you know how the points are all supposed to go when two of the points are pointing at each other, so it ended up like a brackets with a line in between it. That was fun. Some like golden shower came up in that. It was all sorts of crazy things, but it was really good fun, and we did that for quite a chunk of time, and people were cheering around and getting stuck in and guessing themselves. But then we did the mould a Willy with Play-Doh game.
We did this at our last event as well.
Yeah.
And it was really good fun. So you generally have at least, 8 to 10 people, if you can, all get given a little pot of Play-Doh. Well, we don't get given a pot of Play-Doh. Actually, we just chuck them in the table. And I didn't realise you could grab more than one pot per penis.
So you started moulding one because
I thought I was just allowed to use one. So I only used one pot of Play-Doh.
Mrs. H
my penis was a little on the small side.
Mrs. H in not listening, shocker.
Yeah, I couldn't hear talking.
Well, so people paired up.
Yeah.
And you were paired up with a nice single guy that we know.
Yes.
And between you started moulding or making a Willy.
Yeah, you take it in turns. One of you starts and the other one finishes the penis off.
He added some amazing dimpling to the balls, which helped quite nicely.
Some artistic finesse.
Your penis was about 1/3 of the size.
I didn't know I had more material on offer. Some people grabbed like 3 pots and made it into some massive wang.
Yes,
fine, great, good for them.
But throughout the course of this game, I then had to put up with everyone going, well, is that what she's used to moulding it on? I was like, motherfuckers.
Yes, well, I'm outraged that the smaller penis, which I made, didn't win on the basis it was very small, but that's not how it should be. Penis. It shouldn't win on the strength of its size.
Yes, but I mean, some people went and put veins on there. Some people made a complete foreskin. We have some very talented people.
Penis artistry.
Yeah, penis artistry throughout the course of that.
We took some pictures though.
Yeah, we did take some pictures.
That was good fun though. And then we gave away some prizes for the winner, and that was all good.
But next up, we took it a step up.
Yeah.
There was a photography session. So we had Kitten and the Wolf from Spicy Match.
Yeah.
They helped, and we had sort of banners and lights everywhere.
Ring lights.
It
was hot as hell.
It wasn't because there were so many fucking lights in this room. And people would come in, and the idea was that they'd get a bit of a sort of demo around posing for pictures and get the opportunity to take their own pictures. It was all like a sealed area, so no one was going to be coming in and having a nose and stuff. And they could use the banners and the props that they'd put out to update their profiles, take new pictures together, get some sexy pics.
Or just get some nice pictures to share with each other.
Yeah. And I really loved this session. This was really good. I think, it was a bit quiet at first.
A bit hot for me, but...
Well, I think at this point you're in full own personal summer mode. You had to go outside and cool down. And it's not because there were so many naked ladies wandering around.
Well, people did start getting a bit naked.
Well, I think there were a couple of couples that started just taking their clothes off, getting down to their shorts and underwear. And once they did that, then it was like a touch paper was lit around the place and loads of people were getting stuck in. It was really cool. And then people were asking us for help with their photographs. So I was taking loads of pics of people and taking them for them and like giving them some advice. And then Kitten and the Wolf were doing a similar sort of thing. My arms are waving all over the place because I'm pointing in my head to all the different sections that were in the room.
Right, okay.
Because they had a big Spicy Match banner.
Yeah.
We had a big sort of black and red luxurious kind of looking thing, and there were rose petals being thrown around.
Oh yeah, I remember
all
those.
sorts of cool stuff going on. Then
props.
We
had,
props, whips and floggers and all this cool stuff.
Ribbons.
And ribbons.
Yeah. It was
and
really
lights.
great. Very creative session.
I think it took people a little while to warm up, and I was a bit worried that they weren't going to do it at first. Because when you do these things, you never know. But actually, as a way to ease yourself into that, let's get a bit naked, let's have a bit of fun. It worked really, really well. And people got some fantastically great photos. They really did. Not just the ones that I took, which of course were amazing, but the ones they took between themselves. They offered some top tips, like using video, so you can, just grab a still from that if you want.
Oh, nice. Yeah. People bought nice underwear and changed into that honestly, so we could get some good pictures.
It really, really kicked off, and I loved that. But then we had a special guest.
I love this session.
Do you want to talk about this session?
Yeah, sure. So we were really excited to welcome along Kerry Gold to this event.
Who was Kerry Gold?
I was about to explain. I'll tell you for why.
What is Kerry Gold?
So Kerry Gold is an erotic dancer, lap dancer, pole dancer. She works in dancing for...
She works in dancing.
She works in dancing. Is
that next to CNA's?
I want to say she's an erotic dancer, all right?
Yeah.
So she specialises in pole. She does amazing work. You should check out her Insta. She's on there, I think, Kerry Gold. Look her up on YouTube probably. But you can find her online, right?
We'll have links in the show notes.
We'll have links
we'll
in
do
the
that.
show notes. You do all that. And we met her when we went to Croatia for the Spicy Match. And I was absolutely blown away by her performance when we saw her in Croatia, right?
But the thing I want to say is that she's very talented, but she's really fucking lovely as a human being.
Well, I haven't got to that bit.
Okay.
You interrupted my flow.
Oh, okay,
you
fine.
asked me who she was and I was telling you.
All right, okay.
All right, pipe down. You've talked enough.
I'll go back to my corner now.
So we were lucky enough to catch some of her performances in Croatia. And we were, as I said, blown away by just how incredible she is at performing, right? She's a little powerhouse. She's super strong. She's beautiful. She's absolutely phenomenal on the pole and just generally super limber, right? But as you've just given my spoiler away, she is also a really tremendously lovely person. Like, she is just a little diamond. I'm so happy to have met her again, and even happier that we got to have her over for this event.
Yeah.
So she was here for the event for two things. She was going to do a performance at the event itself on the Saturday night. So she was going to do a pole performance for us there. But she was also happy to lead a little class about how to give a sexy lap dance. Okay.
Oh my.
I know. So we had the room all arranged in sort of how she wanted it, with like chairs just placed around the room. And she had one person sitting on a chair and one person standing behind.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, here we go. This is going to be, instruction
And
step by step. But it wasn't. It was really interactive at first. She got everyone on their feet. She got everyone doing something really fun to get them all sort of moving and like stretching out. And everyone at one point had this like huge line of people kind of gyrating around the room.
What I loved is at this point, so because we're hosting, we've kind of taken a step back and just let it go.
Everyone else can have a go, right?
Part of my mission was to film her.
Yes.
Because she's notoriously forgetful of filming
her
herself.
own stuff.
So, and I did a bit of that at Croatia, as did Kate. So I thought, well, we'll capture this. And you were just sat down at the side, just like against the wall, just keeping out of the way.
Partly because it was hot and partly because I was giving people some space so they could get involved and enjoy the sessions. Yeah, you're right. However, then she wanted to start obviously demonstrating what she was doing as she was starting to take people more into a step-by-step, performance or a lap dance from begin to end, and like building on all the moves, and then you practice and then build some more steps in, and every time she'd then play the music and run through the whole thing again until we'd completed the whole thing. But she needed someone to show her moves on. And so someone chose me. A lot of people,
I think a number of people pointed at you.
Mrs. H.
Yeah.
And so, I got to sit on the seat in front of everyone and enjoy this amazing
like about
lap
30
dance.
lap dances, effectively.
30 lap dances. My goodness, that woman is limber. Yes, so she was amazing. And I was very happy to be her muse.
Well, it was very amusing because the look on your face was like, first off, oh, I'm going to have to dance. I don't want to do this. No. And she was like, no, just sit in the chair.
Yeah.
Mrs. H relaxes. Then you get danced with and you're like, oh my God, this is cool. But also in front of everybody. Then you kind of forgot that everybody were there and you just like...
Well, I had to watch her, right?
Well, you were just living the moment, enjoying your lap dance.
Yeah.
And then at the end, she was like, well, now I'm going to practice with somebody else. Mm-hmm. So then she called me up to do the dance with you.
Yeah.
Now, the irony was I've not been watching this. I've been filming it. So I've been more concerned about...
You've kind of been watching it
through the lens. But I'm more concerned about capturing the image and what's going on rather than actually taking in what's happening. So then I have to stand up with about 4 or 5 other people, I suppose, because most of the people had gone through their complete run and then do one complete dry run with you, with me not having a fucking clue as to what I was supposed to be doing.
I do.
It was funny. But
it was really great.
I don't know why you didn't have to stand up and do the dance because you had the most demos of all.
Maybe
that would have been the
but
easy way to do it.
It was funnier to have you do it.
It probably was. So I ended up doing weird press-ups and claps and building that into my routine.
I don't think a clapping press-up was part of her routine. You just chose to build it in.
I just did. I freestyled.
You did.
I gave it more than that Australian...
At no point have you in people's lives did we ever receive a lap dance where someone's doing pressing clap-ups.
I bet they have.
Clapping press-ups.
Clapping press-ups, pressing clap-ups. I think people have. I think that, if you went... Not that I'm comparing myself to a Chippendale.
Maybe one of the Chippendales, right? Yeah. Okay, all right.
I'm more Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers than anything else. But yeah, so that was all very fun. People really got into it. And lots of people came to us afterwards and said, fuck, that was like really sexy, really fun. But also it pushed them really out of their comfort zone. But they felt really in a safe space to be able to do that.
It was super fun. No one was criticising. No one was taking it too seriously. Although it was hard not to watch her and not be inspired to go and immediately take pole classes.
Yeah, you can do that. We'll get you pole classes if you want.
God's sake.
Yeah.
She was amazing though.
If you think Mrs. H should take a pole class,
are you going to start a poll by any chance?
I'm going to start a poll. If we get 10 yeses, then she'll start a pole class for 10 weeks.
A 10-week
pole class.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. Is this so?
Yep. Do you commit to this?
Well, yes, all right. Because you're not going to get that, but fine.
I am. I'm going to get it. I'll do it, even if I have to make 10 accounts and then I'm going to do it.
Accounts. Hello.
Come on, Avengers,
I'm
assemble for this.
Bob from Clapham, and I want Mrs. H to take up pole dancing.
Who is this no-miss character? That's not Simon at all. No, don't read it backwards. No, definitely don't do that. So it was all getting really hot.
Yeah, literally
hot and figuratively in the room. Then we had a chance to grab a bite to eat, get changed, and then
it was very rushed bite to eat. We had to go and literally cram it all in and then come back to get ready.
Well, then we had to go to the club early, which is great. And then people got coached over to the event itself. Now, I felt a bit like that because you and Kate were on reception, taking people's details and checking their IDs. But I felt like that Troy, whatever he's called, guy that gives people all the compliments standing outside. You know, oh, that is a powerful stride, sir. You wear that jacket with confidence. You are a man that's probably going to fuck someone at some point. Those sort of delightful compliments. That's how I saw myself. Yeah. Other people were probably like, who is that weird sex pest that is stood outside swanning around with a glass of Prosecco or Prosecco in his hand? But it was really cool to be able to sort of greet people, give them like a friendly face. You couldn't miss me because I was all pink. Oh, and I also dyed my hair pink as well for the night.
Yeah, you did.
Fun times. And just get them into the club.
Yeah.
What was really, really awesome that particular night at VA is that they opened the Lux Lounge, which is the outside area.
We don't always open this because it's open to seasonal fluctuations, isn't it? So obviously if the weather's not great, then it won't open.
And same with the amount of people in the club. If there's only 6 people in the club, they're not going to do it.
No,
but we
of course not.
had a pretty good number. And I think I was really excited to just get people seeing this because we'd seen it the sort of previous day while we were filming, and I was really impressed by it. I mean, I've only ever seen it from like inside the club window at night.
Yeah, it's always been shut when we've been there because of either weather or numbers in the club have not been good enough, because obviously they're opening up an outdoor hot tub as well. Yeah,
well, I have to say it transforms the club a bit for me.
It's just enormous, isn't it?
Yeah, it gives it a little bit more space. This fantastic. So just to explain, and hopefully you'll see this on the video soon, but it's an outside area. It's all very wooden with all seats and stuff everywhere out there.
Big comfy settees.
Big comfy sofas and pillows and stuff. It's all covered. So if it does get rainy, there's that there. There's light. It's like really, really prettily lit, which is really nice. It feels really cozy. And there's a hot tub in the middle of it all that you can go and chill out in. They've also got an area with seating and a fire pit outside as well, and we'll come on to that in a minute. But I think it really adds something to the entire club.
Oh, me too. And it means that it doesn't feel too crowded in the club, I guess, because then if you wanted to, you could spill out a little bit into the overflow bits.
Yeah. And I think, they've made some changes. The dance floors, sort of where the old library area used to be. And we've talked about this before. And actually, I think that works quite nicely because if you're coming into the club, you're not immediately hit by the dance floor. There's now more of a sort of talky area, albeit quite a loud one.
Yeah.
And then sort of beyond that, there's the sort of disco-y area, for want of a better phrase. But there's still not much in the way of private play spaces. And I know they do that on purpose. They like to keep things open.
Yeah.
I think that's more of a security thing than anything else. But what I will say is that night, I have never seen so many people playing in that orgy area where there's about, I don't know.
Oh, it's like 10 beds or something.
8 beds, something like that. And a bed all the way down the end as well, a little room. And there was not an inch of space in there. It was absolutely kicking off. And I was just sort of doing the rounds, and we were chatting and doing our host thing, and I was sort of outside a lot. You were inside quite a bit, and I came in and I was like, it seems to have quietened down quite a lot. And you had already gotten changed. You'd already dressed down. I was like, okay, really better do that. So I got changed and wandered around, and fuck me, there was not a single inch of space in there. It was just like Caligula style Roman orgy thing. Just yeah. And there were like almost people queuing to get into that space.
Crikey.
The hot tub inside actually was a little quiet, or at least it was until later on. But it really, like the play areas and anywhere people could play were just busy. Yeah. And there was something about the atmosphere throughout the course of the night. It was really electric. It was really fizzing.
The black light helped. All the UV lights.
Yeah, I think
it was super fun to see everyone's underwear all sort of lit up like bright pink and bright orange. Everywhere you looked, there was just brightness, and all the UV lights were just tremendous, I think, because it was just lovely to see everything like lit up so much.
Yeah, I agree. I think people put in a really good effort. And one of the things that happens with some of the events that we're involved in is that, there is a what are you wearing sort of thread on our Discord, and people they sometimes get a bit over worried about it. and they get not over enthused, but people get concerned. Are they wearing enough neon? Are they on theme or whatever? And it becomes a whole talking point. But actually, all of that worry and that concern, people get there and it goes out the window. And I have to say, they look fucking amazing.
They really do.
Everyone went really. I think there were just a couple of people that hadn't got the neon. I think they'd bought tickets very last minute and hadn't had a chance to get that.
Fair.
But for the most part, everyone
glow sticks, though.
Yeah, they had glow sticks, and we handed out these flashy foamy glow stick things that were awesome.
They were everywhere around the club. So
well, it was so funny. I saw you and Kate handing those out. And I could see people just like making a beeline to grab one from you. And it was awesome. People were holding these and dancing, and the atmosphere was, honestly, even I was like, oh shit, this is properly kicking off.
Yeah, it was great.
And then by that point, I was absolutely fucking knackered because it was my social battery was starting to sort of go, right, you need to rest a little bit, because we'd been on the go since like 8 a.m.
100%. And we hadn't really had a chance for a power nap throughout the day, so unlucky.
But in terms of, VA, I think they've done a marvellous job sort of updating it and making it...
The Lux Lounge is fabulous. Really, really fabulous. And I'm so glad we got to have it open that night. I think it's nicer now they haven't got the dungeon immediately as you come through the doors for the accommodation part.
Yeah.
Because you'd walk through... And if you're staying at the club and it was your first time in VA... you would walk down through the hotel and into the club from the accommodation, and the first thing you'd be met with is like a dungeon, essentially. And I think that could be a little bit like terrifying.
Yeah, I think the same.
Never seen a club before.
It's the same with that dance floor bit, and it's the same with the other bit. The only thing I would maybe change is just kind of trying to ease back on the noise in the chat area. Because there's not so many quiet places to have a conversation.
But now, when the Lux Lounge is open, it's easier. You can escape out there.
That was absolutely fantastic going out there, because it's a bit quieter, a little bit more chilled. And actually, we went out there and they lit a fire pit. And I have never seen you move. Like as soon as I went over there, it's like you can sit there. That was it. And Mrs. H was bent over with her bum to the flame.
That was one of my favourite bits of evening.
Roasting your fucking hams on that flame.
Roasting my hams on the fire. And I was turning myself around slowly like I was a rotisserie. And I was warming one side, turning around a half an inch, warming another side. And I just rotated and rotated all night because I was wearing very little out there. And then I'd come along and sit on your knee so you could feel how hot my bum was.
Well, I think the feel how hot Mrs. H's bum game did go around a little bit. But even when we went to bed, a couple hours later, that fucking ham was still steaming. It was still warm, and I don't know how.
I told you, I'm changing it to esteemed hams.
Esteemed hams. I see what you did there. Very, very clever. Yeah. Anyways, so throughout the course of the sort of later half of the evening, and this must have been like midnight onwards, we kind of chilled out, mostly outside. Chilled. And then people would come in, drop in, say hello, we'd have a nice conversation, and then someone else would rotate in. That was really cool. So on that night, we didn't actually play. I think we were just we were
knackered.
So tired.
But we were talking all night, so...
It's just the way of the world, isn't it, I suppose. But to be fair, because I was tired, I wasn't like, I'm missing out.
No.
There were people that I liked, but I was also like, I'll see him again. It's fine. We'll get around to it.
And we had a fun night the previous night.
We had a fun night, which was delightful. So we caught the coach home, and at VA you can pay like a $5 each, and they'll bus you back to your hotel, depending on which hotel it is, of course.
Yeah, it's really helpful.
Which is great. We took the bag back with us, or the bags of all the stuff, and what we didn't know is that there was one of the room keys for the place in one of the bags, and then also I left our play bag on the coach.
You did, but we didn't know that until the coach had driven off.
And the problem with that is that my car keys were in the play bag through a series of unfortunate or misfortunate events.
Well done, you.
Yeah, so we got in touch with VA and they were able to send the coach back on the next run.
But we had to wait an hour for it to do its loop and come back.
So for about the last 20 minutes of that, you decided that you were going to wait in reception for it.
Yeah, I won't lie, I was a bit pissed off by this point. So I was like, fuck this, I'm going to sit in the reception.
Whereas I'm like, if we've got to wait, I'm going to have another glass of wine. So I proceeded to pour out...
I couldn't any more drinks, and I sat in reception, drank some water, waited for you. For the coach to stomp off with your bag and your keys, and then it was about 3:15 when it got back.
Yeah, so it was a bit of a late one.
Fuming, mate.
I think the only thing that got you up was your love of breakfast in the morning.
Oh yeah, to be fair, I had to get up for breakfast. I was starving.
Absolutely were like, right, you rose up like the dead and was straight out having a bite to eat.
I wasn't hungover though, because I'd been drinking water like a lot since probably about midnight.
I think...
Whereas you swanned around like Captain Jack Sparrow waiting for the coach to come back with your keys.
Well, yeah, that on Saturday night. On Friday night, I think, so I drank quite a bit because I was drinking lots of water because there was water readily available around the hotel.
Yeah.
That really helped. But in the evening, when we got to the club, wasn't drinking so much water, but also because I was outside, I wasn't drinking quite so much there.
Yeah.
But when we got back to the hotel, I was like, well, we're just waiting around. and some people were outside smoking, so I just hung around with them.
Yeah.
And was like, yay, I've got a glass of wine. I've got my, my bottle here that I was wandering around with like Jack Sparrow. So that all worked out nicely. The good thing is we got the bag back and then we were able to deliver the keys the next day.
All good.
We were able to say goodbye to everyone at breakfast.
Yeah, that was lovely.
And
it's always lovely.
That's always really nice. Oh, by the way, thank you to the wonderful guest that came along, gave us T-shirts.
Oh, they were fabulous.
Very, very kind of you.
Themed.
Mine was Transformers.
Amazing.
Which fitted perfectly, and I'm eternally grateful. That was wonderful. Saying goodbye to people at these events, and we had to be on the move because we had to drop someone off at the airport. And so we were kind of all set to go pretty quick, and before we, even kick out time at the hotel. So it made the goodbyes very, very efficient this time around. And before we've stayed there for like a couple of hours and been just saying goodbye and chilling out and chatting to people and talking about stuff. But actually it kind of did help sort of bop us along a bit and doing the right thing. And I think I always get tremendously sad at the goodbyes. Yeah, I know. And it's so, because people are very grateful. Hopefully they've had a good night. And I've not spoken to anyone thus far that has had a bad night. Not that I know of anyway. I'm sure someone will speak up and be like, oh, well, I didn't know. But for the most part, people have been really, really complimentary about the event, how it was different, because it wasn't a hotel takeover. We weren't sure how it was going to land, but actually people were in a really good space, and lots of people were saying how amazing the playrooms were. Like they were just kicking off and banging, and people were like, well, you wouldn't believe how many things I ticked off my bucket list. That's amazing. And I love to hear that. And I think that's kind of what I've taken away from it. I think, it's really tough saying goodbye to people because we're like, oh, we don't know when when the next event is yet. We don't know what we're doing. We need to, give us a fucking break, please. Let me have a night's sleep. But at the same point, it's really wonderful how people enjoy them, get the maximum amount out of them, and then they miss their friends. And that's exactly what it is for us. So I want to say a huge, huge thank you to a few people. One, to Mrs. H for being awesome and supportive and waiting around outside for my bag because she was too pissed off to talk to me. I want to say a huge thank you to Kate from Wanderlust Swingers, who invaded our house for a few days, gave Mrs. H an upside down crumpet, whatever that is. Yeah, well, we'll talk about that later. I'm sure we'll cover that at some point or other, but wonderful working with her. That was really cool. I want to say a huge thank you to Kerry Gold for being fantastic. Amazing. And also to Kitten and Wolf for coming along and supporting and doing their spicy match thing. That was cool to catch some, get to get some time with them. That was nice. And lastly, I just want to thank, and VA for being really good. And very opening amazing. Lux Lounge and supporting us. Yeah, they were fabulous. The folks there were really great. But definitely lastly this time, all of the people that came along and supported this event, it was a really cool experience. And honestly, I feel, despite the, sometimes we can turn around and go, oh, we didn't really play and we didn't get really to experience it. I know we played on Friday, but at this time around, I think people were so into the event and so grateful for everything that it just, I feel nourished with the wonderful support and stuff. I'd also like to say thank you to me because I'm awesome. Thank you very much, me. So with all of that in mind, is there anything else you'd like to add? Anything else I'd like to add? Yeah. Okay. I think I just want to reiterate, if you're worried or nervous or don't know what to expect from events, then just dive in because there's tons of nice people there who will always put you at ease. Especially if you're coming to one of our events. Well, yeah. Like the social that we're hosting on the 12th of October in Southampton. Oh, please message us for tickets. Yay. Yeah, definitely. Come along. Yeah. Cool. With that then, Mrs. H, do your funky thing. Well, thank you for hopping into our bed. looking for a joke now. What's the plan? Have you got a joke? Are you doing a thing?
Do I need to find a joke?
You don't have to find a joke. You can just talk nonsense at the end, like when they
do anyway.
Well, this is the thing. Like when they like film the news crew, and you just hear the music, and
they're just like mouthing obscenities to each other.
Yes.
But then you just hear like music and see them smiling.
Yeah, all that sort of stuff.
Hey, Ezekiel, fuck you.
What was your favourite memory from the weekend?
Steaming my hams.
Steaming your hams was your favourite memory?
No, it was all amazing.
Great, that's perfect.
But steaming my hams was pretty good.
How do you like your hams in the morning? I like mine with a glaze.